This morning, the Justice Department may be ready to file charges against former Senator John Edwards for allegedly using campaign money to hide his mistress. CBS News political correspondent Jan Crawford is in Washington with the latest on this story for us this morning. Jan, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. It has been a 2-year investigation, and now these federal prosecutors could charge Edwards this week with violating federal campaign laws when he ran for president in 2008.
I will fight with everything I have.
A federal grand jury has been investigating whether Edwards misused up to $1 million in presidential campaign contributions to cover up his long-term affair with former aide Rielle Hunter. CBS News has learned that last week, Edwards secretly met with reclusive heiress Rachel Bunny Mellon, the donor to the former presidential candidate. Prosecutors suspect Mellon helped finance attempts to keep the affair quiet.
That the status quo is yesterday.
Edwards denies he violated campaign finance laws, but prosecutors are closing in.
They could conclude that that was a misuse of campaign money for personal purposes, which would violate the campaign finance laws.
Let's make America stronger at home.
It would be a steep fall for a man once so near the pinnacle of power. John Edwards lived on a public stage, a multimillionaire trial lawyer who was elected U.S. Senator in his first campaign for the office, the Democratic nominee for vice president in 2004, and then a contender for the White House in the 2008 election.
The campaign goes on.
And all the while, he was seen as a devoted father and loving husband of wife Elizabeth. But in 2006, Edwards began an affair with Hunter, who produced videos for his campaign.
I'd rather be successful or unsuccessful based on who I really am.
A year later, the National Enquirer reported the two were having an affair, and then the bombshell: Hunter was pregnant with his child. Edwards first denied the child was his and concocted a story that his assistant was the baby's father. But it was all a lie. Edwards eventually acknowledged he was the father of Hunter's baby. He and his wife Elizabeth separated, and she died of cancer last December. Now, almost 6 months after her death, John Edwards faces a possible criminal indictment as early as this Wednesday.
Now, Edwards hasn't spoken publicly about the investigation, but that federal grand jury in Raleigh has spent the past 2 years listening to all the testimony from key players. And now, as I said, that indictment could come this week unless there's some kind of plea deal. That, of course, is still a possibility. Chris?
Jan, what more can you tell us about this alleged meeting, though, with this Miss Mellon, who is one of his alleged financiers?
Well, sources close to Edwards say there was nothing nefarious about it. She was one of his most loyal supporters, and so it was just a lunch between two old friends. But it also could play into Edwards' legal strategy, and here's why. Prosecutors say her money was used to support his campaign, and so therefore it was a campaign contribution, and you can't do that. But Edwards says no, that's not true. All that money, which they call the Bunny money, as her name is Bunny Mellon, was a gift from her friend. So, if he wasn't running for president, she would have given him that money anyway. That is his defense, and they say that the lunch supports that they are just friends. He's not running now, and they're still getting together.
What is the holdup right now? Why are investigators waiting to indict him?
Well, it's taken a while to get to this point because the Justice Department wanted to look at this case and some of the witnesses who were going to be testifying against Edwards before it signed off on a prosecution. This is not an easy case against John Edwards. But now they've done that, and they've given the local U.S. attorney in North Carolina the green light to just go ahead and bring those charges.
Any idea what is next for John Edwards? Does he just sit and wait for something to happen now?
There's behind-the-scenes stuff going on quite frantically about a plea deal. Is he actually going to be able to try to reach some kind of agreement with the Justice Department? It might mean lesser charges. I think the Justice Department, based on what my sources are telling me, are standing on a pretty hard line, which would make a plea deal pretty difficult. So, either way, not a lot of great options for John Edwards. Plea deal, indictment, he's looking at some tough times ahead.
A massive fall from grace. All right, CBS's Jan Crawford for us in Washington this morning. Jan, thank you.